Mary Kay, as always, appreciate the time. So you wrote an interesting article, 5 lessons for the Browns from Super Bowl 56. First one, and you and I have talked about this a little bit, elite quarterback play is essential. Take us through that.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously number one. I think that these playoffs, these championship games, and this Super Bowl, if it taught us anything, it's that you really have to have that elite quarterback play. And I think that that is so vitally important for the Cleveland Browns. Now, whether they get it from Baker Mayfield or they get it from someone else, that is exactly what they need to have. So they're going to be trying to determine what they can do to help Baker Mayfield get back to where he needs to be to play at that sort of higher level, maybe not necessarily elite level, but a higher level for him. And they will also, in between now and then, be trying to determine if there is any way that they can upgrade. And they have to look around. I mean, he's heading into the final year of his contract, so they can't just leave that to chance. If someone becomes available that they think is an upgrade, they will have to look into it.
Number 2 kind of goes hand in hand with the elite quarterback play. Crazy good wide receiver or a combo that is vital. And every team in the playoffs seemed to have that element.
Yeah, there was you could see that there was a quarterback receiver combo that really lit it up for each one of these teams in most cases. And I think that is so vitally important. I mean, even when you look back to the Cleveland Browns of yesteryear, they went 10-6 when they had Derek Anderson throwing 16 touchdown passes to Braylon Edwards. You need to have that. You need to be able to score the football. Jamar Chase is the reason why Joe Burrow is who he was. I mean, Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp connected for 16 touchdown passes. I mean, that's incredible. That's going to get you into a lot of victories and into the playoffs. And he obviously helped them win the Super Bowl. So the Browns need to get that. And I think that is going to be the number one priority in the offseason. If they think they need to, if they're going to keep Baker Mayfield, then the number one priority obviously is going to be receiver after that. If they don't feel they can get the job done with Baker Mayfield, then the number one priority is to find the quarterback. But those two things, that battery, the quarterback to the receiver, is the way they need to go.
Yeah, and again, the league is kind of tilted towards the passing game as far as the rules go, so you have to have a pass offense. Number 3 on your list, a more menacing edge rusher, and that goes to combat the passing games.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and what I mean by that is, Miles is so fearsome and so great at sacking the quarterback, but he needs to take it up a notch in terms of getting those takeaways, batting those passes down, forcing those fumbles, getting those strips, and just making a little bit more of those impact plays. And if they don't get those from him, then they needed to get those from the guy on the other side or from somewhere else. They need more takeaways. I think it should come from Miles. I think he has the opportunity to hit another gear. When you pick someone like that, number 1 overall, passing up some good quarterbacks along the way to draft him in 2017, and you call him a generational player, then you have to take it up to that level. We view Aaron Donald as a generational player, right? Maybe one of the best defenders ever. Well, I think Miles can get there. I think he can get close to being at that level and really challenge this year for NFL Defensive Player of the Year. But in order for him to do that, he has to take over games. He has to wreak havoc, throughout pretty much every game. And then very importantly, he must stay strong until the end. He's got to be playing his best football in the final 6 games of the season. And I think that's vitally important. And then into the playoffs. That's what you've seen Aaron Donald do. It's almost like some of these guys, they can save that 5th gear until they get down into that final home stretch and into the playoffs because they need to expend so much energy to play at that level. And I think he can do it, but he's going to have to pace himself maybe a little better.
Number 4 on your 5 lessons, a money kicker that was evident throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, boy, where do you find another Evan McPherson? It changes the game for you, okay? It changes your strategy when you know you have a kicker that can consistently make the 50-plus kick and, maybe more importantly, that can consistently make the 40 to 49 kick too, right? Because that is where the Browns really, really struggled this past year with Chase McLaughlin. So that's what they have to do. They've got to go out and they've got to find themselves a kicker. And, they've got a few extra draft picks here and there. If you have to draft one, go ahead and draft one. If you can end up with an Evan McPherson, I'll tell you what, you won't regret it when you're needing to make those extra points and needing to make those kicks or needing to make the game-winning kick in overtime. So it's something that they have to have this offseason.
Yeah, and this offseason in particular, almost after the first round, I think all the games were within 3 points. So that goes to that. And your fifth lesson from the Super Bowl, an excellent offensive line is needed.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I think that that we could see that with Joe Burrow. You can hold up only so long, and then when the chips were really down and they needed to win the football game, that was the one element that they probably didn't have. And I think that defenses are getting better. Teams have recognized that not only do you need an explosive offense these days to go all the way, but you need a defense that can stop an explosive offense. And I think the Browns are focusing on that on both sides of the ball. But with defenses getting so much better now, you really have to have that good offensive line. And I'll tell you, the Cincinnati Bengals are not going to be able to keep Joe Burrow healthy if they don't rectify that situation for themselves. The Browns, on the other hand, they also have a few decisions to make. Now, I've been told that Jack Conklin should be ready to start this season. I don't think there are any guarantees of that. That's the aim and the hope. But I don't think that you can, write that in stone right now coming off of a torn patella. And then they have to hope that Jed Wills comes back really super strong from his ankle issues. And then I think they'll be okay along the offensive line. They also have to make a decision on whether or not they want to stick with center J.C. Tretter or save a few $9 million, and go with Nick Harris or someone else as their center for next season. So these are some decisions that they have to make. But, they figured out heading into the Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski regime that they wanted to be really, really super strong on the offensive and defensive lines. And I think the Super Bowl shows just how important that is.